I really think that Robin Williams once said that to die would be an awfully big adventure, and he did. He he eventually did. He died this week. At least that's what they say. That it was a suicide by hanging. Uh, and now that he's dead, now people are talking about him similar to what happened with Michael Jackson. And I wanted to make this video and talk about him. And I want you to know that I was born in 1985 in America, and Robin Williams inspired me to go to Vietnam. Back in the 1980s, Robin Williams starred in a movie about Vietnam where the American troops were fighting with the south of Vietnam against the north, and Robin Williams was a DJ, and so he was in a movie called Good Morning Vietnam, and I remember watching it, and I didn't know a lot about Vietnam, but I knew that it was an Asian country, and it was interesting to see a country that is small but very, very strong. And you know that Vietnam has a long history with fighting with China, fighting with countries around Vietnam like Cambodia and Laos, or other countries in the area, and they have a strong spirit, and they have a strong will to survive and to keep on going. And I have been learning a lot about Vietnam and a lot of good things in Vietnam for the past 2 years. I was born in 1985. I came to Vietnam in 2012. And so now it's 2014, and for the past 2 years I've been learning a lot. And so that all started because of Robin Williams, at least partly. And I remember on Wednesday hearing about the news for the first time. I saw something on my mother's Facebook. I remember more than 10 years ago I helped my mother get on Facebook, and before that my brother was helping me get on Facebook, and then, you know, good thing I helped her, because then I was able to find out that one of the best comedians in the world died. At least that's what they say. You know how conspiracy theories work. People talk about things about maybe people die, or maybe they didn't die, or they died for a different reason, and maybe other people killed them because there was a reason to. And I'm not here to really debate about it. I'm not here to say that is true or not. I'm not exactly sure, because I don't know everything. I am really interested in those kinds of things. I really, really like to think about things, and I want to learn things. I'm a lifelong learner, partly because I was homeschooled until I went to high school and Bible college and community colleges, and so I was kind of in that different kind of world because I was homeschooled, and so maybe I'm more interested in these things that are not as mainstream. And so you'll hear about things if you don't already know about the, like, say for example, the Illuminati or other secret organizations and things out there that people that control the world through the media and through the banks in the world. And it seems that these things are really true, and I believe that these things are true because it makes sense. And so they are behind a lot of different things. I'm not exactly sure what they do, and I don't exactly know if they were a part of certain things like 9/11 and landing on the moon, or if they landed on the moon and Michael Jackson dying, and now we have Robin Williams. And so I don't really know a lot about these things, and I shouldn't really speculate too much about things I don't really know, since I'm not an expert and I don't know everything. But I want you to know that Robin Williams is one of the greatest comedians in the world, and he's probably the best comedian in the world. At least his kind of comedic value. He's kind of like an older version of Wayne Brady, and of the white version of Wayne Brady. Robin Williams is the Michael Jackson of uh, of comedy. He's the Michael Jordan of comedy. He really was always the best. And I remember watching his TV show that he had this past season, The Crazy Ones, and it was really interesting, especially because he was co-starring with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and that was very special since I'm a fan of her from the Buffy the Vampire series, and so putting those two people together it's very important. And I've heard that Robin Williams was going to be a serious actor, and he was like a method actor, or is a method actor, and it's interesting. And I'm a fan of a lot of his movies, and some of the other movies that I saw was like Aladdin, where he plays the genie from the lamp, and then you have the $200-year-old with a two-century-old man. There's like a story. There's a movie of a robot, and he plays the robot, and then he becomes a man. Oh, he becomes a man over time. He starts to turn his body into he gets body parts, and he wants to become a man because he can think like Data from Star Trek: The Second Generation, and it's really interesting to see that movie. There's a lot of other movies I can talk about, and he started out in television in like the 1960s or in 1970s in Mork and Mindy. He went like Nana Nunu. I always tend to say things wrong, and I just saw a video today where he kind of says that people always get it wrong. People always get it wrong, but what we don't get wrong is that he was important. And it's really interesting to see that they say that there was a Family Guy episode that was airing, and then after it was over, he killed himself. He killed himself right after an episode of the Family Guy where they had a part where Robin Williams tries to kill himself. He cuts his like wrist, and then he tries to hang himself, but then he's not successful in the cartoon. So that didn't really happen. It happened in the cartoon Family Guy, the TV show for adults, similar to The Simpsons. And then at the end of the episode, then they said that it was reported that he was dead. And it's like it's like a coincidence or a conspiracy or something. I don't really know, but I'm here to say that I am an English teacher, and it's partly because of the inspiration that I got from Robin Williams, and it's very interesting. And I remember watching the Dead Poet Society and getting a lot of inspiration from his life and the kind of person that he is. And even though it's comedic, he's a comedian. Comedy isn't just for fun. It's a way of dealing with life and how you deal with life, how you have different mechanisms in your head to deal with the different things, and it's very important to have different things to be able to cope with life, to roll with the punches, to be able to do things so that you don't get too serious or too depressed when the going gets tough. That's how the cookie crumbles, and you don't want to get too sad. And I don't exactly know how comedy works. People say that I'm funny sometimes, and maybe I am, but it can't always happen, and you can't always like press a button to make me funny. Maybe Robin Williams knows how to do it, and maybe he has a secret, and so maybe I'll never get to that level. Maybe my brain isn't working to that capacity, and I can't do it. And so I can't really talk about other people. Maybe other people can be funny, and I don't know exactly if I can be funny, and I'm not here to say that I'm going to be the next Robin Williams. I'm always like a competitive guy like Michael Jordan, and I want to sing good like Michael Jackson, and I always talk about the things that I want to do, like, make movies like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, movies like Star Wars, and I want to be the best in the world. I want to be like Mike, I used to want to be in the NBA, and I wanted to be tall and black and in the NBA, in the National Basketball Association, playing basketball, and I'm only like 5'8", 5'9" or something, and I was born and raised in Forest Grove, Oregon, and I would always root for the Portland Trailblazers and sometimes for the Lakers, and so dreams may not always happen, but dreams can still come true, but maybe not always in the way that you want it to be. But so I'm not here to say that I'm the next Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, George Lucas, or even Robin Williams. But I'm not really here to be like them, to be another copy, to be another robot. But I still want to learn from them, and I still do, and I'm actively being a lifelong learner. I don't want to just learn until a certain point, like when I'm 20 and then stop learning, then my brain will stop working and then I'm going to die. If you don't continue to learn, you stop using it, and if you don't use it, you lose it, and you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to try to keep on working with my brain, and then that's what I learned from Robin Williams, is that he's always working with his brain when he was alive, and you get that inspiration to continue to try your best and to never stop with trying your best. You might not be Robin Williams, but you could be the best you that you can be. I'm good enough and smart enough, but gosh darn it, people like me. That's what Michael Jordan said in a Saturday Night Live skit around the 1990s or so. That was maybe his only time that he was on SNL, Saturday Night Live, and I still remember it, and me and my brother, we'd always talk about it, and those were the good old days, back when everything was so much better. I just wanna see you smile. What happened to the day when everything was so much better? What happened to the day? I can't remember. That was a song I wrote. But I want to say I don't know. I'm just I was really sad when I heard about Robin Williams dying, and I'm still pretty upset about it, and I don't really know what happened. Just like with Michael Jackson or Elvis and some other people, maybe you hear about these situations and you don't really know, and you can't really make sense of it. And we need to be careful, because we need to not take things too personally, because we can't really make sense of our lives, let alone other people's lives. And so we want to try to put things in boxes. We want to put everything in a box. We want to contain it and to understand it and to make assumptions and judgments. And we can't really do that, at least not completely, not entirely, not all the time. We've got to be careful, and yet we do that with life, and we do that with our Creator, our Savior, our God, our everything, our life, our families, our religions and stuff, and we study, because we don't even know everything, and we don't really know ourselves that much, but we want to, make assumptions like, oh, that person, oh, he was so depressed, or he started, he was being how do I say die? He was dying, he was being how do I say diagnosed? I got a stutter problem, man. I had to kill myself, get myself out of the gene pool, and he was getting diagnosed with what do you call it, Parkinson's disease that Michael J. Fox had, and so maybe he was like, man, I don't want to be like Michael J. Fox. I don't want to be. And no, I have to follow the steps of Michael J. Fox. No way, I'm out of here. And also the funny ones, that TV show that he was in. It was canceled by Fox, I heard, and so maybe that's another reason why he killed himself, or maybe somebody murdered him. I don't exactly know, but I will always be thinking about him. And if you're watching this, Robin Williams, I I really do admire you, and I've always wanted to be like you, and I still do, and I want to be funny, but I can't always make people laugh, and sometimes like if you laugh at what I'm saying, then that's good, and I'm happy if you're laughing, and yet I think like making people laugh is not the most important thing. Doing the right thing and delivering a message that has purpose is more important. Like this video, this rant where I talk and talk on and on, where a lot of people may not even watch and listen to what I'm saying. This is like more important. Even though like entertainment is very important, it's like education is more important. And education doesn't always involve like talking, and you can't always I mean laughing, funny stuff, But when you have laughing and funny things and music and songs and entertainment, you can make entertainment, you can make education so much more exciting, but it can't be uh, the front and center. It can't you can't focus too much on the entertainment, and so it's like when you look at Robin Williams, when you look back at his life, I don't want you to think of him as this a goofball, as this a crazy person, as a crazy ones. I want you to think of him as more than just a hook. I want you to think of him as more than just an alien or Mork and Mindy. I want you to think of him as a Dead Poet Society man. The guy from, what's the other one? I can't remember all the movies, but, more than just an hour-long photo, a creepy guy who's staring at you, I want you to think of him as an inspiration like Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream, I have a funny one, I made another funny, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splinter, the master of the turtle said, I have another funny, and I want you to think of him as a conversation starter to bigger and better things, and things, like education, things that can help your life, progress into becoming more effective, efficient, and ultimately, learning about the purpose of life, in caring about each other, doing things that really, really matter in life, and giving your life ultimately to Christ. Following him because he is the creator, and you should follow God and not Allah or the other religions. And you should really be there for other people, and if you can make them laugh, you can, and you got to be there for other people. And sometimes you got to use words, but for the most part, you just got to be a servant to other people. And that's what Robin Williams' life has been, is an inspiration to other people. And we often forget that too many times. Like the movie Big, for example. Big was a story of a man who started out like aging too fast. The aging process was so fast, and so he was born, but then he was going to die really fast because there was something wrong with the DNA and the genetics to this boy in this movie. And Robin Williams played him when this character was about maybe 10 years old. And so when this character, like Jack, the character's name in Big is Jack, and so Robin Williams plays Jack, and when Jack is 10 years old, he looks like, Robin Williams when he's like 40 years old, and he's tall, and he's playing basketball, and he looks like he's 40 years old, and then later, when he goes and graduates from high school or college, he's like maybe 18 years old or 22 years old, and now he has white hair, gray hair, and he's probably only going to live for a few more years, and he's probably going to die. This character, not Robin Williams, but this character Jack in the movie Big, he's probably going to die when he's like 25 years old or 30 years old, because the aging process is so fast, and so it's really, really interesting. When I saw that movie, that he was just like, he was getting really, really old, really fast, and it's like, it made me think about my life and how short life is, and you got to just get up, and you can't procrastinate too much. You got to go up and you got to do what you got to do, because life is quick and life is short, and you shouldn't really mess around with time and the things you got to do. And so if you have something that you need to do, you better go do it because you never know when life is going to be over. Like, I had a really good friend, and I met her when I was younger, when I was about 5 years old in 1990, in my neighborhood, in my trailer park neighborhood. It was like a ghetto kind of with the mobile home parks and I was in Forest Grove, Oregon, USA, and I was going to the park one day, because I was hanging out with like my uncle who came to my house and Uncle Jim Williams and playing with like Tinker logs, Tinker toys, and then I decided to go on my red scooter and I was going to the park and then there was a girl and the girl said, "Hi, what's your name?" And her name was like Tiffany. Her name was Tiffany Cumbo and she started talking to me and she said, "Oh, my name's Tiffany." And then her mother came home and she said, "Oh, this is my new boyfriend." And her mother said, "No, he's not." "Yes, he is." "No, he's not." "Yes, he is." And I started to fall in love with her and we're playing like Batman and Robin and like tag and chasing, running around. She was on a tricycle and we're running around her mom's car. And then we went back to my house and I got my wagon and I pulled her around and we got some of my toys and we buried my toys in her neighbor's yard. And I don't think we got permission to do that. But we became really good friends because he lived 7 houses next to me, 7 houses away, 7 trailer parks. Trailer houses, trailers away. And 7 is my favorite number, and so is green is my favorite color. And we're really good friends. But then when Tiffany was like 7 years old, she started having boyfriends. And I was really, really sad, and like maybe I should have tried harder. And one time I wrote a letter to her because I saw something on an episode of Wishbone where a guy wrote a letter, but he didn't sign his name, and then later she figured out that the other person wrote it, and then it like reverse psychology, it worked, and she went to the guy. So since I saw that episode on Wishbone, what's the story, Wishbone, I decided to do it myself when I was 10 years old. I think I was 10 years old in 1995, and I signed a letter, this love letter, signed Bill Bailey, and I thought it was a really great love letter, probably the first love letter I ever wrote. Like I wrote stuff like, "Oh, your skin is so soft and I love you so much, and your skin is so pretty and you're so beautiful," and stuff like that. And roses are red and violets are blue and good things like that. But then I didn't sign my name. I said, Bill wrote it, not Joey Arnold. I'm Joey Arnold, original oatmeal. But then she figured it out because of my handwriting, and that was really, really like kind of embarrassing. But I guess it's okay. But at the time, it was really embarrassing. And